this breaking news from Hololive really affected me a lot more than the others, which I feel bad for saying, but like concerning Gura was one of the few VTubers who really got me into the VTuber rabbit hole, as well as just how much her legacy has impacted VTubing in general for a lot of like fans out in the West. If you never really start off with like a lot of the Japanese VTubers, it's just as she was my second favorite whole live streamer, right next to Korone. This one really got me emotional, especially with the way she spoke in the announcement, and it got me. It really did, and it's sad to see that Gawr Gura of Hololive English, Hololive Myth, is graduating May 1st, JST time. So roughly April 31st, EST time, if you live in the United States, so you can, know what day she's graduating. She put it simply that she's leaving and graduating, which she didn't specify, but I believe this is going to be very similar to the way Fauna and Mume are graduating. It is not going to be similar to Amit's graduation, where she is still an affiliate with Hololive, but it seems like Gura is graduating because of company direction, as well as just what basically how it sounded like there was just a lot going on in her life, to the point where like she has mentioned throughout her time in Hololive, as things began progressing into a new direction, came along also a lot of stress that she really thanked the Chum Buds and everyone else who watched her to help calm her down and relieve that stress. And understandably, she also mentioned that this was a long time coming, so she definitely thought about this for a long time. More than likely, she thought about this probably for over a year now, when she started to having these longer breaks, when she started to have less streaming time, right? Understandably, Hololive is going in a new direction, and with that comes that there's going to be a lot of people, especially some of the older talents, who will not necessarily vibe with the new direction. This doesn't mean at all, and I want to very much clarify this, that there's something, insidious going on within Hololive. That's not what this means. It just simply means that because of this new direction, some of the older talent just are not meshing well, and with the way she spoke about just the stress of everything that she had to do with a lot of the stuff, and a lot of the stuff that had happened outside world with some of her health concerns as well, it just became too much for her, and she just wanted to hold on as much as she could. Hololive gave her, the time, gave her the breaks, allowed her to participate in other things, and it allowed her to essentially continue being a talent and stream whenever she could. But it just seemed like just from her announcement that it just became a lot more stressful, and it has nothing to do with like just Hololive internally being a bad company. This is a situation, like I have mentioned in my previous videos about some of the girls' graduations, that this is something's bad's going on, right? It's not Hololive acting like a black company, or what Niji Sanji is doing, which is essentially trying to harm former talents as much as they can and hold them at gridlock to the point where like they can't escape the company, until their contract runs out. It seems like what Hololive is essentially doing is that they're allowing the girls to have breaks. They're allowing the girls to really, really just take their time, and if they want to graduate, they want to leave, they are more than welcome to do so. They are more than welcoming to let them go of their contracts, and just move on with their careers. Again, A company that has something going on internally that's really bad would not be doing this. They'll gridlock them to the point where like they would not at all be able to leave. But Hololive is letting them leave. And you have to understand, Gawr Gura is by far the most subscribed VTuber on YouTube and possibly on this planet. Right? Just think about that for a moment. If you have a talent that's the most subscribed, YouTuber, VTuber on the planet, a black company would do everything they possibly could to make sure that she stays despite her protest, despite how she's feeling. But Hololive is letting her go. That's how you know that there's nothing like really insidious going on. Could there be bad management? Could there be some sort of like issues with like discussing like permits and just the direction of what they want some of the talents to do? Sure. But it's not to the point where it's just really bad. And I think that's very important to understand. And the way Guru spoke in this announcement, she doesn't want to leave. She feels bad for leaving all her shrimps, her chum buds. But she wants to be free. And Hololive is just really letting her go. And not doing it without fuss, without doing anything. And that's important for everyone to understand. And again, I don't know what's going on with Hololive. I don't know what's going on within management. Is it strange, that, the last 3 graduations all had like disagreements with management? Sure. It's very strange. It's definitely not a coincidence anymore. But I don't think there's anything nefarious going on, like I said before. It just doesn't seem like it based off like how the other talents are, feeling. And again, we don't know and we'll probably never know what internally is going on within Hololive, right? It just, again, trying to speculate what is happening, all that will do is anger you. Honestly, it will do nothing more than anger you. And it can bleed onto your, how you watch the other talents in Hololive, and it just will make you angry, make you sad. It will just have this little gremlin in the back of your mind thinking, oh, this VTuber is going to graduate because of disagreements with management. Again, we don't know anything going on, right? I don't know anything. Everything I'm talking about in this video is just me, like everyone else, having small speculations about what exactly could be happening, right? But again, I have not seen anything within the talents that really signals that there's really something nefarious going on to the point it becomes a black company, or to the point it becomes as bad as what occurred at Nijisanji. It doesn't look that way, right? It really doesn't. And it's just the fact that they're using that same terminology over and over again with each single graduation, to me it seems like that is essentially a way to really bring more of your hatred to Hololive for whatever reason, right? To Hololive, right? That like they want to be the scapegoat for your anger, right? They want you to be the scapegoat, because why would a company, say that there was some sort of disagreement with management or disagreement with the company's direction if they didn't want you to be angry with them? That's what it feels like. It feels like a misdirection in that sort of way, which is why I don't see it as like something really nefarious going on with the company. They just know with how passionate, Hololive fans are, they want you to be angry with them. They want you to be upset with them. They don't want you to be upset with the talent. They don't want you to be upset with any other member of Hololive. They want you to be upset with them, right? Which to me, in my mind, when I think of like, a company trying to take your anger and bring it to them, means that they're willing to take the blow of your anger to protect their talent, right? Regardless of how, if something, occurs later down the line within Hololive that gets leaked out, and then we know exactly how bad it probably could be, which we don't know. It probably is, like I said, probably nothing. Them allowing you to be angry at them means that they understand how really bad these graduations are looking at, and they want to take the blame. They don't want you to feel anger towards the talent, and it's working, because everyone who is upset over these recent graduations are angry at Hololive, not at the talent. And that's what it feels like to me. Really, I don't like companies. I think a lot of companies out there are really bad. I don't trust Hololive for a lot of things, because no matter how good a company may look and appear on the outside, there's some stuff that happens on the inside. We don't know what happens on the inside within Hololive. But no company, right, if they don't want to look bad, will ever let the talent, put the blame on them. Just look at what happened with the Niji Sanji situation, right? They are the ones who are trying to put the blame on the talent and not on themselves, which makes them look way worse. But Hololive wants your anger to be directed at them. And I think that is a very important distinction to realize. They want you to be angry at them, because they know that, if they try to blame the talent, that will make them look worse. And could there be something behind the scenes as to the reason why they're doing it? Sure. But that's just speculation at this point, right? But to me, that's what it feels like. That's what this feels like. That they're trying to direct your anger at them so you don't get angry at the talent, and to essentially protect them as well. And I know most of us will probably never get angry at the talent for leaving or graduating. But this is a way, I think it personally, in my opinion, a way for Hololive to direct your anger at them. Because I'm going to be frank. Hololive fans, VTuber fans can be very parasocial. They can be very parasocial. I'm not saying you guys are. I'm just saying some can be very parasocial. And this is a way that the company Hololive probably decided as a good way to protect them. Because if they attack the company itself, then they won't get angry at the talent. They won't get angry at other members of Hololive, but at them themselves. Because they can handle the brunt of your anger. And I think that's what's going on in the situation of why Gura said there's, disagreement with management as well as company direction, and why it's a thing that's been repeating over and over again with the last few graduations. It's a way for your anger to be directed at the company. Does this mean that the company is in bad shape, that there's something going on with the company? Not necessarily. There could be. I don't know. Again, speculation. But I think what this is very clear to me is that they're trying to get you angry at them to protect the talent. And I think that's at least something worth thinking about. So, I get it. It's easier to blame the company itself, right? And they understood this. So that's what they're doing. If it was something really bad and they didn't want to take the blame for it, guess what? They would not be letting the talent say about this while they're currently still contracted with the company. Instead, a company would blame them and would continue to blame them regardless. So I think that's a very important thing to realize and understand, because I think that's exactly what is happening in concern to the way that these last three messages have been, where the disagreement has been with management and the direction of the company. I think that's very important to at least, put as an option for you to realize, at least according to my opinion, right? I don't think Hololive is some magic company that does all good, and that they are really just the crown jewel of like the greatest company in the world. I don't think so. I don't trust companies enough to really believe that, but at least they're doing something like this than what Niji Sanji or what other VTuber companies did, which is blame the talent. So just keep that in mind, when you're feeling angry, but again, don't feel angry. Be supportive. That's really it. Just be supportive. And she mentioned that she loved doing the idol stuff. She loved singing in front of a crowd. She loved everything that she did in Hololive. It's just people go through many things that we don't know about. And, the only thing we can do is respect their wishes. Respect, not knowing the full truth about what they're going through. And it can be tough. It can be so tough to just deal with that by themselves. I go through the same thing. I'm sure everyone else has gone through the same thing as well. But the important thing is that we have to be there to support her. And she says she loved doing the idol stuff. So it's just the direction of the company with however it's going. You know, she just felt like because of everything else going with her and all that stuff, she just couldn't really think that she could give her best to what the company wanted, and she thought it would be best to graduate. And that's admirable, and that's something that Hololive is granting her, and it's admirable. It really is. And all we can do really is just wish her well. That's the most important thing. There will always be disagreements with management, no matter what company you work for, no matter what institution you work for. There will always be disagreements with management. Always a thing that will happen, no matter where you work. It happens. Graduations will continue to happen, no matter how much the company tries to, do stuff to get them to stay. They will continue to happen. It's just part of life. People move on from their work, from their jobs. It happens. It really does. So, I don't like creating, speculations about this sort of stuff, but like just from the way she spoke, it just seemed like, the stress was just mounting too much, and she just didn't want to like be a burden to the company. And the company understood this and granted her graduation, and that is something a black company would not do. So again, all props to her. All props to her for sticking it out for the few years that she has been feeling this way. All for us, because she knows how much joy she brings to us and how much joy we bring to her. And all we can do really is support her and wish her well. And this isn't an attack, and we shouldn't attack like the company or someone or any of the members, because that's not what's happening here. It's not a issue with like the bigger aspect of what Hololive is doing. It's really just disagreements with the company's direction, disagreements with some of the stuff that management is doing, and it's just she felt like she couldn't keep up, or she couldn't like do some of the stuff going at it at 100%, and that's perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with that. She, at the end of the day, wanted nothing more than to entertain us, to give us content, and just be the little shark with the big heart. That's really all it is. So there's no reason for speculation at all. It sucks. It hurts. She played a huge pivotal role in, the way I consume content on YouTube and the way you consume content on YouTube. That will never change. That will never go away. Those memories will last forever. But one of the things that everyone has to learn in life is that you have to move on if you are not feeling well enough to continue, or just have disagreements with something. It's perfectly fine. That doesn't mean that they will have this bad communication with the former company. It's just they need to move on. They need to try something new. Try something that allows them to be more free, to be less stressed, all that stuff. Gura is doing that, and Hololive is letting her. So it sucks. I know it really does. Gura has been a part of my life as much as she has been in yours. It sucks. She's my second favorite VTuber out of Hololive. It sucks to see her go, but I'm more than happy to let her be who she wants to be, and just allow her to finally be able to create content the way she wants to, right? And relieve herself from a lot of stress. She even mentioned this stuff from the outside world that really got to her, and it happens. Sometimes you just need a brand new, like space, or like a brand new view of the world, or go out somewhere else where it's different. It's scary, of course, but that's what she's going to do. And, I wish her well in her future endeavors, right? I really do. Hololive EN wouldn't be as popular as Hololive EN without her, as well as every other member of Hololive EN that has graduated. It really wouldn't. And they will. And if you're concerned about like Hololive EN, for the future, I wouldn't be concerned, because they have really, really good talent that are still with the company, right? They really have found really good talent that's gonna make, us watching them still have fun, still appreciate Hololive English so much, right? It's time to just move on. Everything, that's just how life works, and really, that's just what we have to do as fans as well. Marine said it better that codependency on a streamer isn't good for you. Allow them to just be themselves. Let them move on to bigger, better things. And you can do absolutely the best of your ability to support them, and whatever they decide to do. And that's what we should do for Gawr Gura, for everything she has done, for helping bring all of us to this rabbit hole known as Hololive English. And that's that's the best thing to do. Hololive English will be fine. It hurts. Losing Gawr Gura definitely hurts, especially for a lot of us who have been fans of hers for a long time. But the best thing we can do is wish her well. And the worst thing we can do is start, creating some sort of conspiracy theories. Start, showing or blaming Hololive for some, black company BS that probably is just made up in your head. I get it. It's easy to create these conspiracy theories. It's easy to create these things. But let's not. Let's just wish her well and wish her whatever and she decides to do, whether it be continue streaming or something else, and wish her well in the future endeavors. That's all we can do as fans. It hurts. It's probably going to hurt for a long time. It probably is. Right? But part of life is just accepting that people have different views, different ways of going about things. And all we can do is really support them. Right? Hololive will be fine. One of the things that you should probably be already aware of is that Hololive English was perfectly fine when Gura was taking these breaks that she needed. So I would not be worried about Hololive. Overall, Gawr Gura, thank you so much. From the first moment you just said to the last stream we saw of you playing Repo with members of Hololive English. Thank you so much, and I can't wait to see what you do, what your project is, in the last couple of weeks we have of you for the month of April. It really was a privilege and just so much fun watching you grow, watching your content, and just enjoying yourself and bringing us so much joy and entertainment in our lives. Thank you, Gura, so much for everything you've done. And if you decide to continue streaming, I will be there. I'm sure every single member of the Chumbuds will be there to support you, and to all the other members of Hololive English, I know we will be there to support them as well in this tough time. So, thank you so much. Again, please don't try to create some sort of speculation there's something bad going on. People move on. We will have more graduations. There's no doubt about it. The company's going in a new direction. Companies do that. All we can do is just wish them well in their future endeavors, and we will see them again. No question about it. We will see them again. So, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much, Gawr Gura, for everything. And, thank you. Thank you so much.